Good morning and welcome to the Saturday show. And I'm just getting used to everything, so just give me some time there. Sorry, I'm Miss Away, and this is the Saturday show. And I'm your host, Carl Levy, and welcome. It's been a while, but I'm getting used to everything, so it just gives me some time to get used to new things. But yes, welcome to the show. I'm glad to join you guys here on a Saturday morning. I appreciate all you guys viewing it. It's the first season for a while, but as I said, there's a lot of things we need to discuss about, especially me being a Leeds fan. We will discuss that. We have got a guest on today. Douglas is fortunately away as he is busy with going up to his friend's party. So he'll be back on next week. But I do have a guest with me. Joining me, he's a Leicester fan, as usual. I have to get used to that quite a lot. But he's a good mate. He's a good mate. He's a good person. He's one of the best, one of the best creators on the football platform, content platform. And good, so let's say good morning to Chris. To Chris from Leicester Till Die. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. My God, I hope I can live up to that introduction. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I wish things would be better from a
Well,
lead standpoint, but
well, is it, we're not exactly pulling up any trees, and we've not even kicked off yet. So, at this rate, we'll see you again next season.
we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, we will see. We will see. And as I said, unfortunately, we are not live on Twitter due to now you have to have a premium account, which I'm not going to pay for as extra money as a cost of living crisis. So I'm keeping my money. But as I said, we are on Twitch as well as our channels on YouTube and Facebook as well. So yeah, well, let's just kick off with one thing. A shambolic start for Leeds United after everything's been very much a bit of a tough start. Um, we've lost key players such as Archie Gray going to Spurs, and then Cesar Somerville going to West Ham, and then the last few days with the release clause of Jorginho Rutter was hit by was accepted by from Brighton, and he's going to go, and it's been a mess, and there's not been any shambolics than we thought it was going to be of reacting to get to the players. But Chris, I'm going to come to you from an outside fan who didn't know Leeds United. Did you really expect something like this from Leeds to not being very progressive when it comes to the players that have been left?
Yes, I mean, look, all banter aside, we had a lot of banter last season, and I can feel your pain because I was saying this yesterday on the show before preview show for the weekend game. You are Leicester had we not got promoted. Because had we not got promoted, yes, all right, we were always going to lose Kieran Dewsbury Hall because he was our most sellable asset. And, we had to sell him because of PSR and all that crap. But had we stayed in the Championship and not gone up, then we would have lost a hell of a lot more players. And not ones that we wanted to lose. I mean, we let a few go, but we'd have lost some of our up and young coming stars. We wouldn't have kept Fatawu. We'd have possibly lost, Mavididi. So I could see this happening, and it's all right. You sat there with a nice big bank balance, but that's no good to you. You want the players, and you are losing some. You've lost obviously your best players. I mean, I'm just looking at the list here of players that have left Leeds. I mean, I'm guessing a lot of these are sort of youngsters or players that haven't made the grade. But Jack Harrison's gone out, who we were obviously interested in not so long ago. Like you said, Somerville. I mean, Archie Gray was a surprise because he sort of leads through and through.
Yeah, well, for what I've been hearing, Chris, there's been a bit of a relationship breakdown with most of the Gray family.
Uh,
Well, there's been rumors about that for quite a bit about this, and I think he was our price for asset for him to go for £40 million for him if you get Joe Rodo back in as well. So
yeah,
the problem is because he was playing out of position last season because he wasn't playing in his centre mid, he was playing more in the right back. it does sound there was a bit of questions with that one. I just, for the matter of fact, with I don't the financial situation from the previous board, the 49ers were part of it, but they were minority stakeholders.
Hmm.
The thing was, it was more to the fact that the we used our accounts on the credit card to, when we bought some of the players that have really did play well.
Yeah.
I did question it quite a bit of why they let this happen. So I really don't know how the finances. We thought after the Active Grey, our CEO our CEO came out saying because of Active Grey, we're not going to sell more players because we will dictate the transfers. But you can't dictate the transfers if the players have got release clauses from
No.
old contracts. So how can you dictate the transfers from
You, you can't, and you have to live with that. But you've got to accept that those are the to get him in the first place. You had to agree to that. It's like who was it? Oh, I can't remember who it was now. But yeah, we had somebody that was or Kante when we won the Premier League.
Yeah,
He went almost as quick as a rat down a drain pipe, and I love the guy, but Chelsea hit his. Who knew Chelsea? But Chelsea hit his release clause. But we've got to say, if it wasn't for him, who knows whether we'd have won that trophy behind us? So you have to accept that, and it is. I mean, look. I mean, I've always used Leeds as an example, and yes, we tried to live above our means a little bit. We dined at the top table. We liked it, and of course, our fans expected us to. But if you're going to try and do that, and look what happened to Leeds. When you tried to do that under O'Leary, you try and sail close to the sun, but if you don't get too close, you get burnt. My God, you really did get burnt, didn't you? So we tried to avoid that, but we have got ourselves into a bit of trouble. But unfortunately, these days, everything is about the players. The players control the. It's like the club and the management have no no control over what's going on.
yeah, absolutely. There's no control at the moment where we are. I just look at this. I think as Leeds as a club, we have had false hopes for the last
Mm.
20 something years, probably more than that, and somehow we don't get the owners that is not there for the fans. Can you sum it up how Leeds can get out of that? Because your club's kind of going in a little bit with that with your ownership as well, with certain with the finances and everything. But this is a lot worse than it is because some teams will predict Leeds to be top automatic
Mm.
favourites, but you can't be favourites if you lose key players. And you look at how Burnley and Luton have been; they've not lost their key play. Well, they've lost some key players, but they kept the call the squad that is there to go back up. So I don't get how we are in a situation. It's always something. It's always Leeds, always in some deep shit. It's always been deep shit for some
Well,
reason.
I think the problem is that you had such good players. You've got players that other teams want. Now, let's be honest with you. Had you gone up, had you got promoted, you wouldn't have been looking at probably selling any of those players at all.
No,
All
I
right, you might have done. You might have got, somebody coming in for Archie Gray because he's an amazing talent. But you could have asked for a lot more money. But you didn't go up, and it was honestly through the playoffs. So look, you're talking to a Leicester fan here. We know what those playoffs are like. We've lost more than we've won. So it is very much a lottery. You didn't go up, and when you didn't go up. Like I said before, I thought it was you were going to lose the players. There's nothing you can do because at the end of the day, and we had this with Tielemans, he ran his contract down. We didn't even get a penny for him. He cost us 30 odd million and we did not get a penny back for him. And that was his choice. He was running his contract down. We were offering him new contracts. Nobody was coming in for him because they knew they'd get him free at the end of the season. So if you don't, if you hadn't sold Archie Gray this season, 30 million. If you hadn't sold Sinestra for Somerville to West Ham, two great players. I mean, Archie Gray ripped us one when we played you those
yeah,
games. If you hadn't sold them, you'd have probably had two very unhappy players on your hands.
I
And
know.
would they have performed for you this season? All right, so let's say I don't know how much you got for Somerville. It's got
He got
undisclosed.
25 million. That's been the rumours, but they kept it
35.
secret. But that was his release clause for what I
Right,
was hearing. So
right.
yeah,
So let's say you've got £65 million there, which is great, but it's what you do with that money, you
it's
know.
it's a
And
good
let's
point.
yeah,
Yeah,
Leicester, we as successful as we were winning the Premier League and the FA Cup and that, we survived by selling one player a season for stupid money. Kante 50 million, Chilwell 50 million, Maguire 80 million to Man United. It's but that's how we survived. But that money was pumped back in to the club. Now, all right, the Maguire money was pumped into the training ground, but if your owners want to have success and want to get promoted, don't sit there with that money in your account.
yeah,
Go out and spend it. And the problem is, again, it depends how good your owners are. And ours aren't perfect. I mean, we were actually hearing sort of, should this sell and get out? It's ridiculous, but that's what some Leicester fans are saying.
yeah.
But you should have probably looked, and if if the guys that run the club are doing the job, when you didn't go up, they should have been looking at you. Oh shit! Right, we might sell him, we might lose
Yeah,
him, we might lose that.
yeah,
Let's get some players, ready that we can go and approach that we want to replace.
I know. Well, this is the thing. I'll say. Oh, before we go into that, good
Yeah.
morning, Chris. Well, yeah, good to see.
Hi,
Yeah,
Chris. How
yeah.
you
I know Chris is the best name in the world. I
doing?
can't argue with that one because it is a good point. I'm not going to argue with that one. He also said he didn't expect Leeds to be close they've lost. Yeah, it's a fair point.
Yeah.
And playoff are chaos, carnage, and favourites don't win the place. We were not. We had 6 attempts. The previous 6 attempts, we did not win.
Mhm.
And going back to Leeds, the situation I'm going to say this year. So Farker didn't know in his press conference. He said yesterday and the day before he didn't know about the players' release clauses. He actually also did say we're paying for our sins of the past. He's been saying that a lot recently, and also he backed our board, which has been an issue if you're not being very proactive of replacing the players that we've still gone. The players is we are paying off the finances that we still owe to clubs in installments. For what I've been told with the Rutter deal, we owe Hoffenheim £6 million for the sell-on clause, €6 million for the sell-on clause, which is like, how did this, because, do you know, it was a 49's influence of getting Rutter on a permanent deal. Andrea Ranzani did not want to get him on a permanent. He wanted to get him on a loan until see how things are.
Yeah.
But we have noticed as well, and this is what Farker's issue, you know this as well. When he lost Brendia at Norwich, he couldn't replace that player.
Mm.
He struggled. This is the same situation he's in right now. And I think to the situation with the board, I think the board have been slow and we don't know how to react. We've got less than just nearly 2 weeks
Yeah, I
of
know.
the
Yeah.
transfer window closing. We need at least a minimum of 4 to 5 players in the squad because we're gonna have the smallest squad depth in the championship. We also made a lot of money compared to the other 23 championship clubs.
Yeah.
We've made nearly
Yeah.
150 million, but we can't use that money because of the PSR. It's like I was watching the One League channel the other day, and Connor did say something. Is your situation is we want to be good boys and not spend the money. You guys were not the good boys. You spend the money, but you still got promoted. So why can't Leeds not just do that, just to break the rules? If you need to get promoted, just get promoted, break the rules a bit, and we can accept the fine.
In fairness, I agree with everything you said, but we didn't break the rules last season. We'd broken the rules the season we got relegated.
Yeah, okay, fair.
So,
Fair point.
so we weren't breaking the rules last season because the EFL tried to charge us with breaking the rules last season, and we went, "How can we break the rules when we're still in the we've got an accounting period that you are charging or you want to charge us with? We're still in that accounting period at the moment. Why, how can you charge us for something that hasn't finished yet?" And they said, "Well, you did it last season." Well, yeah, but we weren't in the EFL last season. So then
Yeah,
we went to the Premier League, and the ESL threw it to the Premier League. The Premier League said, "Right, we're going to do you for this season," which was last season. We went, Well, we're in the EFL. You can't do us for this season because you're the Premier League. We're in the EFL. And the two bodies hadn't realised this. You know, they hadn't even thought about this. Shows how stupid they are.
Yeah.
But then they said, well, we're going to do you for the season before, which is fine. If we've been naughty, sort us out, fine us, take money, take points off us. We can't, we can't lie. We broke the PSR, but PSR is the most stupid fucking, excuse my French,
No,
thing
go ahead. Yeah.
going. Absolutely. I mean, this isn't what it's designed for. It is designed to stop owners coming in, ripping off clubs, and then leaving them in such debt that they go out of business. The berries and what have you. This is what PSR is designed for, not for this. We have got, and as you have as well, and a lot of clubs have, you've got rich owners. So it's not the fact that any of these clubs are going to go out of business. We've got the money, just PSR won't allow Leeds or Leicester or other clubs, Everton, Forest, to spend it because you're only allowed to spend so much depending on the size of the club.
Yeah.
This season, I'm looking at the Premier League, and it's Man City are being investigated. That's going to happen next month. Chelsea possibly as well. Leicester by the end of the year, start of the new year. Forest possibly again. Everton possibly again. And there's a few others. Newcastle, they can't buy the players they want because of PSR. Aston Villa, they're having to sell players because of PSR. West Ham, they've just given somebody a 9-year contract.
It was, I think it was Aaron Wan-Bissaka got
Yeah,
some,
why? It's
and
because
then Cole
they can
Palmer at Chelsea and then got another deal to 2032.
yeah, but they can then spread that. I mean, when we sold Dewsbury Hall and we got 30 million for him, it was probably worth more, but we sold him so that we could get it into that financial period. So we're suffering because we had to sell him cheaper than probably we could have done because we needed to get it done by a set date. Chelsea gave him a 5-year contract, so that £30 million is 5 million a year. Or sorry, a 6-year contract is 5 million a year that they're putting against PSR.
Yeah.
We bought Golding from them, who was a youth product, for £5 million. Because it's a youth player, they can put all that £5 million into the one season. So basically, they've got, according to PSR, they've got Dewsbury Hall free for a year.
They did. Yeah.
This is not football. The tables, both EFL and Premier League, is going to be decided by men in suits sat round a table. So we're going to take points off them. We're going to deduct them, fine them so many millions so they can't buy. Putting an embargo on transfers on them. It's not going to be decided about 22 players on a bit of green turf kicking the ball around.
I know.
And that is wrong.
It is wrong. And do you know what I did saw yesterday? Southampton did sign Cameron Archer on his third club. He got sold to Villa recently for Sheffield United, and then he didn't even have a game when he gets sold to Southampton just yesterday for £50 million. It's like what Chris Watch said. Football is a mess. It's a huge mess with the PSR situation.
100%. I'm 63 years old, so I'm probably older than you and Chris put together.
Yeah.
I can remember. You took kids, and yes, all right, it was the old days. I'm not going back as far back as flat caps and everything like that.
Fair enough.
But it was a family. I got 4 kids, and I used to take my kids to watch Leicester play Preston.
Yeah, you did.
Preston put it as a family game, and it was £1 a kid. I've got 4 kids. I couldn't afford to take them to see Tottenham on Monday night.
No, you couldn't. You
5. It's absolutely, if they all wanted shirts. I mean, all right, they're all old enough now. They've got jobs in the 20s, but I couldn't afford 4 shirts and then one for me. I'd have been bloody broke. It's just not. But going back to your point about owners, look, we've got still, I think, one of the best owners in the Football League. I really do think we have.
Yeah.
Yes, they've made mistakes. Who doesn't? But if they hadn't tried to go for that, if they hadn't tried to live the dream, our fans would have been going mad like, oh, we won the league and then we were bottom off. And you can't win with fans.
No.
But it's all about, like I say, and I don't know your owners obviously at all, but when you get that 65 million and you've probably got debts that you got to pay and so much of that might be going in other clauses to get them, you need owners that will invest that money back into your infrastructure.
You do. That is a good point. I think everyone thought after the Red Bull deal that we signed, we thought, okay, this stake in the bottom, this might stabilize the club a bit more than yeah.
Oh,
But
it's
what I
faithful,
did
isn't
not,
it?
yeah, and this is another lie. I'm thinking, if you're not going to be honest with us, they've been quiet actually since the Leeds United Trust supporters trust came out. They're concerned, and they want, and they've been told by the club that we'll discuss this after the transfer window. No, it needs to be discussed now because this is a situation that you didn't expect us to be in. Yes, we understand that we've sought out Gray. We know that wasn't because it was a once in a generation talent that we had to sell.
Yeah.
But what we did expect is to have two more of our key players are going, and Somerville's just got into the Dutch squad now and that's what he's been trying to get for years. And we don't even know how many players got release clauses. I think there's few more than we anticipated. I think Strike is one of them. I wouldn't be surprised with Nonto, but the depth with our squad is there's so many weaknesses. There's so much weaknesses, and we can't even get investment with returning players. We have been linked with Jack Clark again from Sunderland because we used because he was a young player
Yeah, yeah,
at the
yeah.
club. I'm like,
Yes.
do we really want to spend 25 million pounds when we could have kept him for that time when we sold him to Spurs in the first place? And look what
Yes.
happened; he didn't get the chance. So I don't know what the club is doing of
Well,
recruiting the players that we need now because we are so lacking. We got a game today later on in an hour's time again
mm.
against West Brom, and it's just chaos at the moment.
And I feel your pain because you could be describing Leicester City's start. The only difference is it's different leagues, but we're up to our neck in the brown stuff as well. But the thing is, if you want a player, and everybody goes mad at Leicester about John Rudkin, who sorts out. He does not pick the players. This guy doesn't pick the players. The manager says what positions he wants. Martin Glover and the transfer people go off. They find a few and they say, right, which ones of these do you want? We can try and go out and get those players. Now, I would imagine if somebody, say at Leeds, goes and says, like, oh, this is a really good player, we want to buy you. And he said, well, yeah, you're Leeds, you've got a big history, but you're in the second tier. You're not in the top. Oh, I don't know. And he says, look, I'll come to you because I've got a good chance of maybe getting into the Premier League, but I want a release clause because, if a top six club come in for me or somebody comes in, you are at least then guaranteeing you're going to get so much money. That is the thing. Yes, you lose the player, but you get the player. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, we've just lost out on the guy from um, Leverkusen, striker.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Can't
yeah,
remember, can't remember his name. It's something unpronounceable. I'm sure Chris Walsh will tell us. But
I think I know what you mean. I
yeah,
did see something about that.
yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
19 years old, Leverkusen. All right, he started 23 games, but what a season they had. We thought, yeah, we'd agreed the deal, we'd agreed personal terms, we'd offered him everything he wanted to try and get him in, and he's gone now to Hoffenheim because he wanted to stay in Germany. So
mm,
you can't. That's nobody's fault because it's the players made that decision,
yeah,
and it's a case of yes, you bend over backwards to get these players in, and like I say, a well-run club. And you look at Man United; they're shambolic at the moment. Their manager's coming out before yesterday's game saying we're not Premier League ready. I mean, bloody hell, this is Man United for God's sake. But you would, a good board down to the manager and coaches and your transfer recruitment team
yeah,
will have or should have. It's like should have contingency plans. Because I said I could see this happening because I knew if Leicester hadn't gone up,
yeah.
we wouldn't have got fat. We wouldn't have, well, we probably wouldn't have got Fatawu because we had to sign him, thank God, because we went up. So that deal was in place, so we couldn't lose him. But had we not gone up, we probably would have done. Like I said, Mavadidi possibly, Vardy might not have signed another year's contract. But you hope that the club is thinking, right, well, this will happen. Now, if you're owned by Red Bull, they're not idiots. They own a few clubs. They should know what they're doing,
I know.
and they should have been prepared for this. And like I say, you sat there with £65 million in the bank. Is Archie Gray a talent that you can replace for 30 million? Possibly not.
No, no.
But you might have to go out and risk £19 million on somebody that could turn into an Archie Gray. But you should
Yeah.
have those players lined up.
I know, and I do worry because his younger brother is still at the club, and I feel like if he gets a chance, then we know it could happen.
Yeah.
I just thinking about our situation because we were linked with Sadie Sminnix before he went to Ipswich, but he wasn't the type of player that could replace Somerville. He
Mm,
wasn't the type of player that could replace Somerville. And the thing is, we were linked with Matado from Rangers recently, but he's not the fit that we needed. He's still young because he
mm,
was still at Schalke for all those years before he got ready. They got relegated, and look what's happened to Schalke at the moment with them
yes.
as well. So
Yeah.
he's in a struggling Rangers team that got knocked out so badly on Wednesday night. So you can't, the club. It's like the board at the moment is just not being proactive of like, okay, if this player goes, can we get a light flight for car? Can we get something a different type that can be in
Mm,
it? Because we relied on Somerville quite a lot last season. If 21 goals and
yeah.
I think it was 15 plus assists, you lose that so much, and I think that's been the key issue where it has been. I said the Red Bull, they bought a my mistake, and they knew, and they should have known what they were even because we've been with Red Bull for donkeys of years now, and I feel like there's been a lot of pressure because I think the fanfare of our when Rutter was the poster boy for the new Way shirt. We're bringing the smiley badge back.
Mhm.
He was all in, and somehow the bid came in just after the game we lost to Middlesbrough. But that release clause was going to expire. It was going to expire
Yeah.
before Brighton came back in with the third offer. They met it.
Mm,
So I don't know how you know yeah, but we thought it died down a bit and we thought, okay, we might be fine because Rutter was going to be our focal point for this season
mm,
because but now things change. I don't know who's going to be the focal point. Mateo Joseph is still 20, and I don't think he can get the goals in at his age. He's still raw. You got Bamford that's not really been struggling, and I think I don't think he's the lofted shot he in the last few minutes of the game, he lofted it. It just
mm.
summed up because Middlesbrough had more possession in the game, and we were just. If you make 5 substitutes in one go before Middlesbrough score, how could you? It just doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't see his favorite promotions.
But I'm just looking at your ins. I mean, we've talked about your outs, but I mean, like we said, 65 million. All right, you've brought in Joe Rodon, whatever, Rodon, isn't it,
Yeah,
from Tottenham. All right, yeah, he could be good for you. He's not an awful player.
no, but he struggled. He struggled. His passing was a bit off. Was very off on Wednesday night. It was so bad. It was just really
But
the team.
again, he's getting used to a new team.
But
I can remember when we signed.
he's been there on since last season on loan with us. He should
Oh,
know.
was he on loan with you last season?
Yes,
Oh, well, no, there's no excuse then.
there's no excuse. No excuse. And also, I think the club didn't even give no tribute to Liam Cooper because Liam Cooper is still without a club. And I thought to myself, why you let him go when you didn't even give him no message to say thank you or anything? He's been treated so badly as well. And I'm like, you could have just kept him on the score for another season because we need his
Yeah.
leadership. Yes, he's not going to get any games, but his leadership is so vital. We've lost the leadership of A-Lane, who looked good on Wednesday night against us.
Yes,
We've
yeah.
lost Cooper's still without a club. He's been linked with clubs abroad. And also, we're now not having Stuart Dallas is now retired after his long-term injury. He couldn't play again. So there's a lot of weaknesses and gaps there. And just we could see. We could see.
But apart from that, you've been very quiet at bringing players in.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Rothwell from Bournemouth on loan, Cairns from Salford. I mean,
Do you know what? The reason why it was to make me up with the homegrown quota. So
Oh, was
that
it?
was So
Uh,
this not a lot of people don't know that it was due to the homegrown quota. So because it actually got going, we had to bring someone in that used to be part of the club. So he's
uh,
come back.
right. And then Bogle, again, I don't know, from Sheffield United. Yeah,
He had a good
it's.
pre-season, and then somehow he gave that penalty where in the last against Box last weekend, which I was a bit like, he
Mm,
didn't need to do that because we could have lost that game. And then Harrison coming back from loan as well. He's got a lot to prove. I don't know. People still there's he's still divisive with our fans. Harrison. Yes, he had he scored a goal to equalize. Then he missed that chance to win the game. And I think that's still it's. We are on a thin line with our
yeah.
fans at the moment. It is so bad, and I'm not gonna lie as well. Our midfielders are so light because when we let Glenn Kamara go to Rennes for some £10 million. Yes, he did have an assist or a goal, but he could create the plays when he needed to. But
Mm,
we're just so light at the moment. I just and I feel sorry for Joe Geldat because we thought he was going to be that talent that was going to come in. It's not worked out as well. So
no.
and then Sam Greenwood at Preston. We'll talk about Preston later on as well because it couldn't get any lower for Preston for sacking low. So
No.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a record, hasn't it? One game.
I know, I know. Do you know what? Since you're wearing the Wu Tang Clan t-shirt, I think about the sun cream, cash get dollar bill, y'all. That is what it feels like with us at the moment. So
But again, like I say, I feel your pain because you could literally be talking about us,
I know,
you know. But like I say, for us, we're in we're up to our neck in the brown stuff. But to use an F1 analogy,
yeah,
we're in the race. Yes, we're starting in the pit lane, but at least we're in the race. And
God,
that's
yeah.
all we can hope for because financially, had we not gone up, well, God knows where we would have been.
I know, because I'm just looking at Leeds' game. We got after West Brom, we got Sheffield Wednesday who battered Plymouth last weekend.
Yes, well
Oh,
done, Rooney. He's going to make a difference, isn't he?
I know. And then we got two home games against Hull and before the transfer closed, and then after interest, we've got Burnley. Those are tough games for us at the moment. We are in this shit completely. If we don't get a result today against West Brom, I think there's lots of questions that need to be answered by the club. Saying what you're going to do if Ake is not the man, who else? Because I did hear Simon Jordan on Talksport the other day that I think David Moyes could be the right fit for the club, but it's his tactics I do question a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, you see, I mean, we're basing here, or you're basing everything here on how clubs were doing last season. So you'll presume, it's like if anybody's looking at Leeds, they're going, "Oh God, we've got Leeds next week." But look how good they were last season. Blah blah blah. Yeah, and you're a different team.
Yeah,
So you're looking at West Brom, and you're saying, "Well, yeah, they were in the playoffs as well last season." But that was last season. Sheffield Wednesday, come on! I mean, they're sat top of the table. It's only one game. Let's not get too excited about that. And
I
and they
know.
beat they beat Plymouth. Well, they got Wayne Rooney in charge. I mean, you and me could have probably beaten Plymouth.
Oh yeah, he's
You know.
Sheffield Wednesday had 31 shots, and that just sums it up
Yeah,
completely. Yeah,
yeah. At
it
Hull
really does.
City, yeah, again they were up and down. Then Burnley got relegated. I think I could say, us fans. I mean, I'm old enough to remember years and years ago, we never saw a league table till about week 11.
Yeah, that's true. It's after 10 games, you like okay, we know who's
Yes.
going up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's it exactly. And that's when you need to look and say, right, we're in the doo doo. Or yeah, we're all right, and even then it's still early. But we analyse every little thing these days, don't we? And I'm the same. We run these channels, and I have been analysing pre-season games like they were FA Cup finals,
I know
and
we
they're
all
not.
do, don't we? Yeah,
Yeah, they're not. They're just pre-season games, and yes, we've had a shit pre-season, but it's pre-season,
I
But
know, I
Hey,
know.
look, it's the passion. It's the passion we have.
Absolutely. Good morning, Niall. Yes, football's back. It's football day properly for not just the Premier League, but also the Bundesliga and also the La Liga as well, and League and Serie A. So, yeah, it's a big football day back today. It is as well. Right, let's go through the fixture list before we get on to Leicester, Chris.
Yeah.
Before we
Oh,
decide, because I
don't
think
don't worry about Leicester. You don't have to talk about Leicester, honestly.
fair enough. Then, so give me a second. I'll just get this to the scene. I'll just make this font a bit bigger because I know the zoom a bit bigger. Right. Okay, so we got Ipswich at home to Liverpool today in their first season back in the Premier League since 2002 at half 12. Arsenal, at home against Wolves at 3 o'clock, along with Brighton facing away trip to Everton, Newcastle against Southampton as well, Bournemouth away to Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa at home away to West Ham in the 5:30 kickoff. And in the EFL Championship, we got Derby also 12:30 kickoff at home to Middlesbrough. Need to get their first win. Luton away to Portsmouth. West Brom against Leeds as well, which I'm not looking forward to when I'm going to watch. I am not doing a live watch alongs. I think that would be the death for me. So
Yeah, that'd finish you off, would it?
it would do, actually, yeah. Millwall face a trip way to Bristol City. Burnley started the campaign of good win at Luton at home to Cardiff. Norwich at home to Blackburn, who started well this season as well. Hull away to struggling Plymouth. Sheffield United, despite the start of -2 points, they at home to QPR. Swansea at home to Preston, and Stoke are away at Watford in the League One. Charlton at home to Leighton Orient. We got Peterborough away at Shrewsbury, Stockport away a local short trip away to Blackpool, Cambridge at home to Crawley. Huddersfield, good start for them last weekend. They're at home to Stevenage. Barnsley going away to Lincoln. Burton Albion are going to the short trip up to Mansfield. Northampton at home to Exeter. Wigan away down in Reading. We've got Rotherham at home to Bristol Rovers, and Wickham at home to Birmingham, who will also have a bit of a slow start last weekend as well. League Two, Chris. I know Chris Welch, and he's a pessimistic. He just said he's a pessimistic Carlisle fan going to Cumbria Down. Never lost a derby today. It's a big derby. It is actually, but he's not confident that he's Paul Sims out since December. So, but there's a big derby as well today. So, yes, Barrow are away at Carlisle, not a huge derby. Bromley, a good win last weekend in their debut game in the Football League at Harrogate. They're at home to Wimbledon. Harrogate away at Accrington. Bradford against Salford. That's another key game as well. Emken Dons under the new ownership. Under the new Kuwaiti ownership, they're away at Bradford. We got Colchester at home to NK Dons. Crewe at home to Chesterfield. Cheltenham face a trip away up coast to the east coast at Grimsby. Morecambe at home to Gillingham. Doncaster face a trip down to Wales to Newport. Port Vale at home to Tranmere, and then we've got Swindon versus Walsall. And also in the because of the Scottish League Cup as well today as well. But we do have I'll give some local games, especially here in Edinburgh. Edinburgh sit at home to Bonnywig, and also we know that the Spartans are playing against Ross County today in the Scottish League Cup as well. The English National League as well is also key games as well too. Hartlepool against Southend, two former Football League clubs going against each other. Same with Dagenham and Redbridge away at Rochdale. Some of the former Football League clubs in the
Mm.
England, so we didn't expect them to play that lower as expected to be. Really didn't, but that is what it is. Right. Your Scottish boy, St Johnson, away to Rangers. Rangers, tough start for them, and
Yeah.
especially the situation at Ibrox where they didn't get they had to wait for stuff from Asia to come. They're now playing at Hampden Park. How has Rangers got into a mess and then get knocked out of the Champions League playoff? Um,
I mean, Rangers have been a mess before because obviously they were dropped right down the divisions, weren't they?
yeah,
Um, Look, I can't have a go at Scottish football because everything I say about Scottish football is English football now. You know, it's been dominated by two or three teams, and it's ridiculous. Again, it's badly run clubs, you know, and Celtic will be sat there and they'll be rubbing their hands together and
oh
go,
yeah,
"Yeah, you carry on, Rangers." You know,
I know, because I think we thought the ban was lifted between the away fans for the Old Firm games, but found out that Rangers, because of the issue, Celtic said it's a Rangers pub, it's not our pub, and they did, we're gonna still let the Rangers fan come in at Celtic Park, but
yeah.
after that, yeah. I think they're going to be at Hampden beyond October once the extension stuff improvements is done at
I
Ibrox.
mean, this is the sort of thing that the football authority should be looking into
Yeah.
badly run clubs by now it's not the clubs but the owners, how
Mm,
some of these owners get to own clubs. I mean, and I go back to ours. We've got fantastic owners, but they had no, they knew how to run a business, but they had absolutely no idea at how to run a football club. But when they took over, they got Milan Mandrić, who was the owner before,
yeah.
to stay for 6 months so that they could overlap and they could learn from him,
I
you know
know.
and it's not all of, I can say yes, you need money these days, but it's what you do with the money, and you can't just throw money at things and buy players. It doesn't work out like that.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I agree with that as well.
But it's yeah, you've got to have the money, but please use the money in the right way, and please, football authorities, check out Anna, how do these clubs get run so badly?
I know. Until the legislation comes in from the government, once they get to the football governance legislation, when they get the independent regulator, but we can't do nothing for the time being. So it is going to be a
No.
long wait. It really is. Speaking of money, Barcelona face away to Valencia tonight in the La Liga tonight. Osasuna at home to Leganes as well, and then Germany the first round. We know Bayern Munich got through last night. Yeah, there could be some shocks later on today if we'll keep an eye on that in the DFB Pokal. Serie A tonight, Inter face a trip away at Genoa, the defending champions. Parma at home to Fiorentina, Empoli at home to Monza, AC Milan at home to Torino. I know also in League 1, Chris, because we're not going to have any TV rights in League 1 because there's been huge mess in France with the TV rights. And TNT Sports have decided not to, so there's no League 1 TV rights here in the UK now. So we can't even watch any games now, which is, it's sad to see because, but it's been a pharmacy, but the way the authorities over there have not dealt with this properly.
Well, it's what we've said. I mean, I hope we get this independent regulator in. And it's funny that the FA have suddenly decided to sort of push legislation through against the likes of Man City and Chelsea before that person is appointed, because he might come in and go, "No, you're talking a load of shit," what have you. Whether we will get that regulator in, I think, depends. Obviously, we've got a new government now, so it was the old government that were going to do that. So that would be interesting. But you need, I think, I mean, I presume every country's government has a sports minister. But what
Yeah,
does that sports minister do?
yeah, you do question that. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I
I
really
mean,
do.
you know, it's and again, it's and we think it's an English problem, and it's not.
No, look at
It,
what
it
happened with
is.
What's happened with Bordeaux. They're now down to the third, fourth division of the French league system. So
It is, but you've got to think, and you wouldn't. Well, you wouldn't really want that to happen to any club. You've been there. Look, you went down the slippery slope. We
yeah,
did to a point. At the end of the day, and I'm sure the fans of Bordeaux will sooner have a club that's in the third or fourth tier than have no club at all. And
absolutely.
that's the thing. But it's not the fan, it's the fans that are losing out. The fans in France, or the French people that are living abroad, or anybody that likes French football. You can't watch it now, if and why isn't this sorted out? It's the fans that suffer
Different.
every
Yeah,
single time.
yeah. It has been, and it's been since the pandemic as well. The
That's not
TV,
helped.
it's not helped. It's not really helped. This
But
situation.
it's not just the pandemic just didn't hit football.
It hit everything.
It
It
hit
hit
everything. It's
everything.
just football is run so incompetently at every level. You know what I mean?
I know, I know, I know. League earn Marseille trip away to Brest, Lille away at Rem, Monaco at home to Saint Etienne. So, yeah, and the Dutch league.
They're
Uh,
my French team.
I know, I know. Oh,
Yes.
really? I didn't know that. Monaco. Oh,
Yes.
right, fair enough. Yeah, so that is
Don't know
pretty.
anything about them, but I just kind of always look out.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
understand that as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
No, fair enough. Right, that is all for the rest of the leagues. We'll talk about the other games as well later on. Let's get into your boys' season preview, Chris. Like you said, it's not been a good preseason. How confident are you going into Monday night? That is the question I
Absolutely,
want to ask you.
absolutely no confidence whatsoever. I'm going to be doing the watch along, sat behind the sofa. I am absolute. I mean, thing is, Tottenham have got problems of their own. But they've just gone out and spent £65 million on Solanke, so he's probably going to get a hat trick. But
Yeah.
their defence is a little bit weak. I mean, it could end up 5-5, who knows? But we haven't got a striker. This is the stupid thing. Yeah, technically, we have got a striker, but we haven't got a out and out
Out and
striker.
out, yeah.
Look, our pre-season has been awful. It really, really has. But when you take off your blue tinted spectacles, yes, we beat Shrewsbury. Yes, we somehow managed to beat Seville. But we're relying up front on Jamie Vardy, he's pretty much on his last legs now.
Yeah.
And he's of an age where if he stubs his toe on the bath, getting out the bath, he'll be
Yeah.
out for a month. That's because of his age. And the club are doing their best to get, and this is what I'm saying, the club are doing earlier the best to get players in. It's not their fault that the guys decided to stay in Germany. It's not their fault that Zaha owes the taxman a lot of money.
I know. I was surprised about that because he was linked with back to Palace and then linked with you guys. I thought that
Yes.
was a done deal. Then now the taxman come in and the
Yeah,
play.
apparently that's a big thing with Turkey and UK when players have gone there before. I don't know, but
Yeah.
look, we're trying, but look, the start of the season, we lost our manager. So all your plans are out of through the window. There is like everything we thought. We could have gone to America on a pre-season tour. We didn't because Enzo wanted to stay in this country and practice drills and that's how he works.
Yeah.
Then he went to Chelsea and ended up going to America. It's quite funny that.
I know.
We then lost our star player, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, and we have missed him big style in those pre-season games. There's no link between defence and attack. There's no attacking midfielder in there. Hopefully, Buenetti that we got from Brighton on loan will do the job. That's really a signing that excites me.
That's a good signing, actually.
Yes, and I'm surprised they've let him go. Having said that, they have extended his contract before he came to us. So it's a new manager. New manager comes in. So we've had a bit of a messy pre-season. Can't go mad at Cooper. Cooper was one of 3 managers I actually wanted.
Really?
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised you said that because I know one or two Leicester fans, especially with his links at Nottingham Forest, was questionable because I know a few fans were a bit divisive on that one.
I mean, come on. Let's get. I mean, if Alex Ferguson had been approached by Leeds and said, "Would you come and manage us?" and then he said, "Yes, I will come and manage you." Would you have gone? Oh, don't want him. He was at Man United.
Let me just think about that for a second. I'm just having that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I could see some loads of trophies coming in.
Yeah, but exactly. But a lot of your fans don't want him. He was at Man United.
Yeah.
We had Wes Morgan. He used to play for Nottingham Forest.
True.
And he lifted that thing for us.
I know.
Martin O'Neill. People love Martin O'Neill. He was part of Brian Clough era at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
You gotta let it go. Why I wanted Cooper, because he's got Premier League experience.
Yeah.
He kept Nottingham Forest up for one season.
Did.
Now, I know they stayed up last season, but they did have the points deduction. But that was his team that stayed up.
Yeah.
The new manager came in after he'd been sacked, and there wasn't many changes. So that was still his team. He's won the Under-17 World Cup with England.
He did.
So he's good. And I know that's obviously whatever.
A lot of people forget about that.
It shows he's good with youngsters. But it's a completely different style to
Enzo's.
And that wasn't Leicester's choice. We didn't want Enzo to go. We didn't sack Enzo. As much as I hate him for going, I understand why he's going. When these jobs come up, when these clubs come in for you, if you don't take it, if he'd have stayed at Leicester and we'd got relegated, Chelsea wouldn't have come in for him then.
No.
So you have to go for these things. So yes, it has been a bit of a disaster. Yes, we we haven't. Well, we've got Dakova Reed, who we signed from Fulham.
Fulham, yeah.
He's got Premier League experience. He's looked quite good in pre-season. I don't know whether he's injured. He might be injured as well, to be honest with you. But if not, he could play up front. So look, we've got options. I think we're going to lose, but they are beatable. It's not like we're starting out against Man City or Arsenal.
Yeah,
Tottenham are beatable. I don't think we will do. But when you look at our start to the season, we've got Spurs on Monday. So, like I
yeah,
say, could be beatable. Then we've
yeah.
got Fulham. Then we've got Villa, who trailed off at the end of last season. Then we've got Palace. Then we've got Everton. All right, then we've got Arsenal. Then we've got Bournemouth, Southend, and Forest. So up till the end, and then Ipswich. So that is not a bad start for Leicester. There are teams in there that you look at and you go, we could win some of those games. Not
Absolutely.
Arsenal, obviously, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean. So it's the draw computer's been very kind to us at the start of the season, but I won't lie to you. If I could afford a commode, I would buy one.
Fair enough. Actually, we've got some team news actually from the Ipswich Liverpool. We have, and Chris Walsh just confirmed that Joe Walsh is looking at transfer options, but he did travel for Liverpool for the game at Ipswich. So that sees signs that Joe Gomez is going to be out of the picture at Liverpool at the moment. So, and speaking of Liverpool, they've not made no signings. They tried to get Super Rudy from Real Sociedad, but he decided to stay.
Yeah.
And now Joe Gomez is leaving. Where would Joe Gomez go?
Well, I mean, would Leicester look at him? I mean, we were in for Carvalho. He ended up going to
Brentford on a
Brentford.
good
That's
deal for
it. Yeah,
£27 million.
but we
Bloody
couldn't
hell.
afford him. We couldn't. That was the problem. We
Yeah.
couldn't afford him because of the financial situation. We haven't got the odd 30 million, and Brentford have, and fair play to them. He might go out on loan. Who knows? With an option. I mean, we're trying to do loans with options to buy, which is what we're going to do with the guy from Leverkusen, because then
Yeah.
obviously we don't have to pay for them until next season, so we can save a bit of money on this season.
Fair
But
enough.
but
Right.
Liverpool, I feel they're going to have a tough season.
I was going to say, I would say that as well, too. I've got the team news, actually. So, Ipswich is 11, Walters in goal. Tuzan Zebe is in the right, Wolfden, Greaves, and Davis in the back four. Lugo and Sam Morrissey in the midfield too. Attacking midfield, we've got Burns, Connor Chaplin, and Omari Hutchinson, one of the new players who's there since last season, is now on a permanent deal. And also Liam Delap, Roy Delap's son, is also started up front for Liverpool. No Joe Gomez. So Alice is in goal. Alex Tia is in the back four with Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, and Robertson. Gravenbeck, McAllister, and Slabside up in the midfield, and it's Salah, Jota, and Diaz up front. And it looks like that Nunes is on the bench along with Conte and Gakpo. It's going to be interesting for Liverpool. We'll get to the Premier League stuff in a bit. But it's interesting with what you say about Liverpool's situation and Joe Gomez, and Chris Welsh just hit the nail on the head. Newcastle wanted Gomez ill in the window after Liverpool interest in Gordon. That cooled down because Newcastle were looking at Matt Guehi from
Yeah.
Palace, which the third bid has been rejected, even though it was around about £65 million plus the add-ons. But Crystal Palace have rejected that deal.
Fair play to Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? Newcastle, and I kept saying this when people come in for players at Leicester. This is what we value them at. And I'm sure Newcastle have said, right, if you want Guehu, this is how much you're going to have to pay. Let's say for Sod's Law, 80 million. And then Newcastle are pissing about, well, we'll give you this or we'll give you... No, we've said this is what he's worth. If you want him, come and put the check on the table. And that's what happened with Harry Maguire.
Yeah,
We said we want 80 million. And in fairness, Man United didn't mess us about. They said, all right, we'll give you 80 million. And the deal was done.
absolutely. Yeah. Chris says it well. He feels that Liverpool will stay for won't be an entire race, but they had the third best squad. I may agree with that one. I think Liverpool are more going to be the knockout tournament.
For me, they had the third best squad. I've got them coming fifth next season, to be honest with you.
Wow, so you got them for fifth, bro. Yeah, actually, I've not done my predictions because I'm not in the Premier League. We're not in the Premier League no more. So
Are you not?
yeah,
Really? Because I thought you were the best team in the championship last season.
Listen, listen. I know we can go back on that situation, right? After
Oh, come on, give me it. I had to get
what
it in.
I
I've
know.
waited. I've waited 64 minutes, but I
I know
had
you
to get
have.
it
I
in.
know you have. I know you've been waiting for that long. Okay, I knew I was going to mention it at some point. This last thing I know you're going to rub it in because you've been doing it to most of the Leeds fans. Well, all the Leeds fans have been rubbing at you, not to you. So
To be fair, look, we have a bit of banter,
yeah,
and that's what it should be about. But it was just Leeds fans were all over my YouTube channel
I know
when
they
you
were. I know.
when you that's a good, and that's what I was getting back at. But look, there's a couple of Leeds fans that come in the chat regularly, which are great. You're great, and it's all banter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I understand the player saying that when he did. It's the heat of the moment. But
Oh, Jesus Christ, give me strength. Matching. Yeah, I know. Don't tell me that one.
I did. The funny thing is, I do a radio show.
I know you do. I know you
And
do radio
and that
shows.
next morning after the Norwich game, I had an Arsenal fan who was another DJ at the station, and he messaged me saying, "You're taking the real piss out of Leeds, aren't you?" Because I was playing things like hot chocolate, everyone's a winner, and at the
Oh,
end I go,
gosh.
"Yeah, but they're not Leeds, are they?"
Oh my God. Yeah. Bloody hell. Oh my God. Yeah.
Anyway, look, it's banter at the end of the day, and like I say, I feel for you because I know that if that had happened to Leicester, we would be in exactly the same boat as you are now with having to sell players. So
I know. I know. Bloody hell. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that to me, Chris. I really did not want to
I
forget.
remember that song. I did play that one as well.
Oh God.
Been
Yeah.
watching on to yeah, I don't know how it goes.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I think should we just pay £20 million to Uruguay, not the Football Federation, to get Bielsa back? Time, yeah, that's not
would
the
you take?
question.
Would you take? Yeah, there's a question for you. How do you feel about? I know it's only one game in, and we were taking the piss out of Preston, but I don't expect that you're going to get rid of Farker straight away, and that's stupid.
Not straight away,
No,
but if things after 10 games, I think there will be questionable that will have to because
right.
regarding that factor, I don't know,
But
because
do you think it was unfortunate? I mean, it's been a bit of a bad circumstances for Leeds. How often do you get three clubs on 90 plus points?
not a lot. That's
Right.
very rare.
Yeah.
It's very
And
very
the
rare.
fourth team was on 87 points.
Yeah,
And it was the fourth team, I think, that went through. Southampton were fourth, weren't they,
yeah,
if I
they were.
remember? And again, quite often, it's the team that's finished fifth or sixth that go through.
Do
You're not, you're never going to come across that again. And like I say, had you won that final, you'd have been in a completely different boat with your players.
very
So,
much. Yeah,
but would you take
absolutely.
Bielsa back?
In a heartbeat. Yeah,
Really? Wow. Okay.
I don't think at this moment because what he's doing at Uruguay is done good. Yet the nearly got to the final of the Copa America, and
Right.
despite the circumstances, because they played him and March played against each other in the third, fourth playoff final in the Copa America.
Really?
Yeah, it was interesting how two former managers going against each other.
Yes.
I think Uruguay get the best out of it. But Uruguay should have got to the final, especially what the fiasco in the US how the setting up of the tournament was so bad, and especially some of his players. He did question the price, the pitch, the price of the fans not being the question of the fans, not Uruguay fans, but
Yeah.
the way they were treated. He questioned how they're treated by the security, and this was the huge questions for the World Cup in 2 years' time over in North America if things could be ready. So there's been a lot. He questioned it, which he was right to because the Uruguay players' families got treated badly because there was a lot of assaults and stuff, and the players had to go in to stop the madness, and they got in trouble for it. But it wasn't their fault. But I think they realized that they had the South American Football Federation had to actually said, you know what, we're not going to fine them. We're just going to reprimand them because this was not their fault. Because if you're not working together with the US officials properly, then you question it. That's why Bielsa was right to question them. So, but I will take him in a heartbeat. But I can't. But I can't see. I think the way he
No.
got treated, it's hard. I think it's a lot harder to bring him back.
Yes. Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
Right. To finish off, we're going to do the Premier League prediction. I know I know you got Liverpool in the top third, in the top four. Who you had in the top four and your relegation?
All right, so yeah, okay. So look, let's start at the bottom, shall we?
Yeah,
And look, I've got heart head predictions here.
go ahead. Yeah,
If I'm honest, and when I did my predictions, I had to do it as if there's no PSR around at all.
yeah,
Because when I've seen a load of people doing predictions and a load of people doing, a load of so-called experts doing predictions,
yeah,
they've all got Leicester bottom, and I understand that because um, we're going to probably get hit by a 6 or 8 point deduction. So I understand that totally. Now, I did this. I was up against Rob Tanner, who works for The Athletic.
Oh yeah, Rob
Yeah.
Tyler's a good reporter.
He knows his
Yeah,
stuff. Absolutely knows his stuff. He's a Leicester fan. He worked for the Leicester Mercury for 16 years. He knows his stuff. And
yeah,
it was him against me. And so we both predicted our tables. But my bottom three, 20th, this might not surprise you, I've got Nottingham Forest.
yeah,
19th, I've got Southampton.
yeah. I would agree with that as well. Actually, Southampton is probably the bottom of my team to go down. Actually,
It
yeah.
was for Rob as well, to be honest with you. I think the problem is they've got a manager there that won't adapt. You know,
No, I saw his press conference. He complained about the transfer window should close earlier, but he's the problem, which he doesn't realize.
yes.
When we close earlier, a lot of European clubs still get our players. We can't replace them, so I don't know what he was. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Now, this might surprise you, but in 18th, I've actually got Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I'm not surprised. I have put them down in my 18th actually because
Oh,
I
okay.
worry about them with the
Yes.
of losing Max Kilman.
Yeah.
There's lots of decent players. I have fear for them. I really do. I don't know
Yes.
why. I
They
really
they've
do.
lost they've lost a lot of good players as well. Well, a lot. Like, they've lost a couple. They've lost Neto, obviously,
Yeah, to
as
Chelsea,
well.
which is
Yeah.
surprising. Yeah.
And I don't particularly rate the manager that they've got in either.
He was
I
good to
mean,
keep them up last season to where they are, but you do question, can he keep it going?
exactly. So I'm just looking. I mean, last season Wolves were 14th, so
Yeah.
I do see them struggling. And just out of interest, I've got Leicester as 17th.
Yeah. See, I put Southampton's bottom. I think I was not surprised with myself. Um, I am going to say as well Wolves as well in that category. And the other team I was thinking carefully, I think Ipswich will survive
Yes,
because
I
they
do.
got a good manager, Kieran McKenna. I think he will do
Yeah.
a good job. I think Forest, it's between Forest and Brentford. I question it carefully because, I think if Brentford will go down if they lose Ivan Tony.
Hmm.
That's a question I did question.
Yeah.
But I think Forest could go down after the fiasco. I think they have got just about. I think Brentford could stay up if they keep Tony. They can stay. They will stay up.
We,
No,
we we both had Brentford as 15th,
yeah,
and we both had Ipswich as 16th.
yeah.
I'll tell
I
you
agree
what,
with
I'll
that.
tell you the advantage Ipswich have got is when we won the Premier League, I still keep going on about it, but when we won that, one of the reasons we won that was because we had the Great Escape the season
You
before.
did, yeah,
So we had that. I know we lost Pearson, but we kept Craig Shakespeare, so there was that continuity between one season and our season and the
yeah,
next season. Um, but we were on that high, and we
yeah.
carried that over into the next season. Ipswich have got 2 promotions on the trot.
I know.
McKenna could have left. There was people coming in from McKenna. He signed a new deal. That's that confidence. And when you've got a
I
manager
know.
and you're going like, yes, I could have gone because other clubs were coming in for me, but I'm going to stick with Ipswich. My God, that gives you such a boost.
It does, and now you got Ed Sheeran has bought a stake in the club
Yes.
as well, so
Yeah.
that's a huge boost for them. It really
Yeah.
is. I
Yeah.
know Chris Welch is gonna go get ready to get to the stadium. Chris, have a good time. Hopefully,
Good luck,
Carlisle will
Chris.
win. Yeah,
I have a soft spot for Carlisle. Bit like their pitch, which is always wet, but I do have a soft spot for them. I have a
yeah,
friend who used to be a Carlisle supporter, so
yeah, yeah.
and of course Nigel Pearson as well.
I know, I know. Right. So we've done the relegation. Give me your top four. I already know who's going to be finishing top.
Okay, top five.
Yeah, top five. Yeah, give me a
Okay,
top
so
five.
this
Yeah,
might surprise you. I've already said Liverpool are fifth for me,
yeah,
and I think I'm being generous there. They need to sign some players in the next couple of weeks.
yeah.
They really do. Fourth, I've got Tottenham.
So that's an interesting one. I've gone for Aston Villa in that fourth place again.
Right.
I
Well, I
think
think Tottenham. Look, Tottenham are Tottenham.
yeah,
As Kate always says to me, a co-presenter on mine,
yeah.
the word is Spursy for a reason. But I absolutely love Ange Potter. Whatever, I can't think of his name.
Pochettino, yeah,
Him as well.
and just
Yeah.
one hell of it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just still love
What
Pochettino.
I just you cannot not love that guy. You know what I mean?
He talks the truth as well. He speaks the truth where we need
Yes,
to.
no,
Yeah,
exactly. There's no bullshit with him.
no, there's not.
I think they did well to get him in. They got, I mean, after the cock up that they had when they ended up with Nuno, and he was like the 10th choice or something.
Yeah,
This guy, they went and got him. They've stuck with him. They've got Solanke, and I think that's a great signing
it
for
is.
them.
They needed a replacement
Um,
for Kane because I think Son was too relied a lot last season.
Yes, yeah. I don't think he could play that role on his own, Son, at all.
No,
But yes, I've got Tottenham fourth. Now, this might interest you then, because third, I've got Aston Villa.
wow, yeah. See, everyone's really banking on Villa, how much they've done well. They've
Mm.
yes, they lost one or two good players, but they've bought in good players as well. And
And they've got a
Emery's got
good
experience.
manager,
Yeah,
Emery. And I know. Don't get me wrong. Arsenal have got Arteta now, and I think well done. I've got to say, well done to Arsenal board for sticking by Arteta when all the fans hated him.
I know.
But I've got but I think Emery is a good manager. He's a good manager. He's got them in the Champions League. Well done, Yuri. You wanted to go to a club that was in the Champions League. You've done that. And I'd say a lot of people have been writing them off a little bit because no, they won't have another good season like that. Why not? It's
Yeah.
the confidence that builds, and they've got that.
Oh yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
my top two. Yes. Who have I
Hold
got?
on, I've got the drum roll on here. Actually, give me a second. Yeah,
Second place, Manchester City.
I have gone that as well. Actually,
Yeah,
I have gone that way. I'm
yeah,
not surprised you have. I was the same as well. I think
yeah,
Man City are going to lose the title this season. I think Arsenal will win it now. I
yes.
really do. If
I,
Arsenal can get Arsenal got the strike, if they get the striker, they'll be points away ahead of Man City.
yes. I don't have any particular love for Arsenal. I don't particularly mind Manchester City. And like I say, the fact that they've got the money, fair play to them. We've all got owners. I mean, even Leeds and Leicester look like Manchester City to Rochdale and Scunthorpe and what have you. So we've all got money, but Manchester, I'm just getting fed up with them. It's getting like Scotland. No disrespect, but
I know with Celtic. I know.
Manchester
Listen.
City.
We've dealt with it a lot.
Yes.
We got used to it now. It's
Yeah.
more about third place for us now.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what's getting that. And I think as an Arsenal fan, you have to accept that Manchester City are now doing what Manchester United did, and that is dominate the Premier League. And if Manchester City hadn't been dominating the way they were, Arsenal would have won a couple of leagues.
true.
And I think this is the season. Maybe if they don't do it this season, they might need to maybe get a new manager in just to give them a bit of a change and give them a bit, something a bit different.
I feel like this is going to be Pep's last season. I really do, and I don't know why. And I know why. If Lee Class is still going to be the interim manager for the time period until maybe till next summer at least, you could see there might be the reason why they're bringing Pep because Pochettino is now going to be the US coach for the next 2 years. It's all written, isn't it? Because Pep's like, yeah, I think what's happened with the situation, they lost Alvarez to Atletico Madrid. Their youngster Oscar Bob's broken his leg, so he's out for a good few months. This is going to be the domino effect now that collapsing. Thinking since Klopp's gone, I might go as well because that's what I see the signs completely.
Yeah, I mean, I See, for me, I want an English manager in charge of
No,
it.
and I agree as well. And we want that who's going
Yeah.
to be the best because we know that Graham Potter has been silent for so long. I
No,
know, I
no,
know,
no,
I know, I
no.
know, I know.
I just want to say if you are looking and watching this, Graham Potter, if you're watching this, because we offered you the job 3 times at Leicester,
You did, yeah.
you've turned it down 3 times, or you couldn't decide because you've been holding out for the England job. The England job became available. You're sat there with no job, so there's no compensation. You could have started straight away. And what did they do? They've gone and put a temporary manager in charge in Lee Carsley. So obviously you're not in the FA's thought. So it's you.
Well, we will see if that is a question after the first 2 games of the Nation League. Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
I
With
think
that
why they've
one.
gone for Lee Carsley because that's what they did with
Southgate, yeah.
Southgate.
And I think
You know,
Icardi's done a good job with the under 21s with
mm,
the European.
yeah, yeah, he has.
Why do you want to? I saw the application out and I thought to myself, everyone could apply for it. I'm like, bloody hell, okay then.
Did you?
No, I wish I wanted to because I do well with my football manager stuff. I know how to, So
Hey, look at Will Still. You could be the new manager.
I know, bloody hell, yeah.
We can't. I'm sorry. Well, you're not particularly Scottish, are you? I mean, you live in Scotland, but
I live in over 10 years now, so
yes, yeah,
yeah.
you're an honourary Scotsman, but
I am Audrey Scott, yeah,
you're
but
not Scot.
I
Yeah,
still get,
but you're not. Yeah,
I
but to me, the England. I mean, my first thing to say about the England manager job is AOBP. That's anyone but Potter. My second thing is there are 3 countries that I would not accept a manager of that nation of birth managing England. Scotland is one.
yeah, that's
You
fair.
cannot have a Scottish manager
No,
managing
that's
England.
not
I'm sorry.
that's like a curse. You can't have that.
Yeah,
The
no,
same
you
could
know.
be in Scotland as well. You can't have an English
Even
man.
if it was Alex Ferguson, he's Scottish. No. German, so you can't have Klopp.
No, it's never going to happen. He's retired. He's retired now.
But
But
but he's German. We cannot have a German managing the English national.
no,
And
you can't.
the other one, just to finish, and this is why we couldn't have Pochettino. He's Argentinian.
Listen, okay, maybe us in Scotland are more friendly with the Argentinians compared to the rest of England. But even the Welsh loves the Argentinians as well because they got Welsh. There's Welsh heritage there, so you can't,
Oh, we had a Welsh. Our Welsh manager won the World Cup for the England under 17.
That's a fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point.
But I think if Arsenal don't do it this year, then yeah, look at maybe having a bit of a change just to spice things up a bit. But I do feel that this could be Arsenal's year.
I really do as well, actually. I think they will. If they get... Listen, I don't know why Victor Osman's going to Chelsea because that's going to be a poison chalice because how many players that Chelsea have? Nearly 45?
Yeah,
Why do you need
45 players? You know what made me laugh? Did you see? I mean, I hope that he crashes and burns, Enzo. But the Chelsea fans haven't taken to him. They don't like his style of play.
I know like how they treat Conor Gallagher and also Ben Chiro now of how they've been told they can go.
Yeah. And do you know what? I laughed because the other day Enzo came out and said, "I have no say over who leaves this club." I'm like,
you do
the
because
manager.
you put some players in the reserves, so you do have a say.
But the thing was, when he was at Leicester, he turned around and said, "I want more say on the transfer policy." And he's now saying he's at Chelsea taking the big bucks. He doesn't. He doesn't have any say on transfers, which we know anyway with Chelsea. But
yeah, that's.
I mean, what a. I don't know what's going on.
It's
it's funny.
Yeah, it's a bunch of BS. I agree with that one. Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Chris, we're going to finish off the show because it's only 15 minutes till Leeds play. I have seen the team 11, and I'm not confident with, especially with Puro up in the attacking 3. So I have to leave.
Good. I mean, I do mean this. All joking aside, banter apart. Good luck.
Thank you, Chris. I'm gonna put. I'll share. I'll put on your link as well on the description as well. But tell me where people can find you.
Yeah, basically, it's Leicester Till I Die TV. So if you look anywhere, YouTube, podcasts, social media, just search LTID TV and you will find us.
Thank you very much, Chris. That is the end of the show. Thank you guys for watching. And it's good to be back as well after a long hiatus away from everything I've been through. But I am back and I'm going to do some more content in the next few days. I am back on tomorrow night to do the championship review. So hopefully I'll be back around about 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And then I'm going to do all the roundup on the following either Monday or Tuesday of all the other leagues and stuff once I get through the games as well. So, Chris, thank you very much as well. Thank you to everyone who's been commenting in as well. Appreciate it.
Nice to have you back, mate.
It is. Thank you. No, I'm glad you're one of the few people that reached out to me when I went through the last few months. But I am back to my 100% best, and I can hopefully I can continue to do this as long as I can do, as long as my body does it.
There's people out here that will support you, mate, and
no,
help you in any way you can.
Appreciate that. Thank you for all for listening. We'll see you guys next week on Saturday as well. Take care for now. Bye bye.